What is this? A bagger on butt crack cycles and a twin cam at that? This isn't mine. This is a customer's bike. This is 2005 Electraglide. Nice man named Mark brought it to me. He's having some brake issues on this bike. So we're gonna jump right into it and get him going. He's got a few other little problems that he wanted me to look at, but that might be for a future episode. For now, I'm gonna show y'all how to fix some spongy brakes on a late model Harley Davidson. Let's get right in. So the main complaint that he has with this bike is here on the front brakes. If you grab this front brake lever, I'm not really pulling too hard on it, and you can see I can pull it basically all the way back to the handlebars without much effort. So the first place I'm going to start is right here at the master cylinder. I'm going to try and hold the camera right here directly above it, and you can see when I first pull the lever, it looks like it's trying to move a little bit of fluid, but as I pull the lever all the way in and release it, there's not any air bubbles coming back up through it. So we're trying to do something here, and this doesn't come through well on camera, but it looks like maybe the return port on this master cylinder is kind of unky-grunky. So I'm going to suck this fluid out and see what that looks like. So it looks like we are actually trying to move some fluid around here, which is good. And we're going to take this syringe and a can of .5 brake fluid. I'm going to suck some brake fluid up into the syringe. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just crack the bleeder screw open down here at the caliper. See, there's a little bit of fluid in there, which is fine. Then we're going to put this little rubber nipple on it and the hose. And we're going to force fluid in backwards up to the master cylinder. This actually helps if you have two people, so one person can watch that master cylinder for you. But since I'm just by myself, I'm going to squish a little bit in and then snug that bleeder screw back down. And now that we've actually pushed some fluid up into the master cylinder, you can see that we're making some good big air bubbles when we pull and release the lever. So the next thing I want to do is just do a regular style bleed on this that takes two people. So I had my wife come help me bleed the brakes just the regular old school way, where she'd pump the brake lever, hold it back to the handlebars, and then I'd crack the bleeder screws, and we just worked our way from left to right across the bike until we had good streams of fluid flowing out of both calipers. This helped, but it still wasn't a good brake lever. Pulled the caliper off of this side of the bike and just run the brakes in by hand. And you see this is a 4-piston caliper, and the calipers on the left side seem to be coming out pretty well. The ones on the right, especially this top, don't. So I'm gonna try and run this in and out a few more times using the hand lever up on the handlebars and see what we come up with. We might end up needing to rebuild or replace these calipers on this bike, or maybe they're just dirty. Sometimes some dirt will get in there on those pistons and stop them from moving freely. So what I've done, and I'm sorry this isn't the highest quality video, I'm actually filming this with my phone instead of my fancy video camera I usually use. In any event, I've shoved the handle of I've shoved the blade of a flathead screwdriver down there. You see I've got the pads sandwiched together. This is the good side. These are the calipers that are moving. This is the bad side. This is the calipers that are not moving. You can kind of see one of the pistons rather that are not moving within the caliper. There's a good shot. Light's good on that. I'm gonna reach up here and grab the brakes, and I'm pumping. Oh, there it goes. It's finally moving on that top one. Check this bottom one. That guy's moving too. So that's good. We'll cycle this back and forth a few times, and I might even take a little bit of brake clean and just hose these pistons down. They don't look gouged up or anything, which is nice. I think they might have just been kind of stuck. So just to reiterate, this is what we started with, where the pistons were not coming out on that right hand side, and this is what we ended up with, all 4 pistons coming out smoothly and then retracting smoothly and putting a nice even clamping force on the brake pads from both directions. So the other side's done too, and check this out. Watch our brake lever throw now. I can't pull it back to the handlebars anymore. That's 4 full fingers, and I'm squeezing as hard as I possibly can. And I know I'm not a big man, but I've been turning wrenches every single day for over 15 years. I've got a little bit of grip strength in these little old arms. That's 100 times better than it was before. Nice. So, quick recap here on what we've done. First, we verified the customer's complaint that he did have a soft and weak front brake lever. Next, we saw that we didn't really have a whole lot of fluid movement coming back through the return port of the master cylinder. So we sucked the existing fluid out and then back bled the system from the calipers up to the master cylinder, which then sort of pushed fluid all the way through. That was a start and actually made somewhat of a better lever, but it wasn't fixed. Next, I went ahead and tried just regular style bleeding. You had my wife pumping the lever, and while I was cracking the bleeder screw until I got good fluid coming out of both calipers. That helped, but we still didn't have what I thought was an acceptable brake lever. So finally, we pulled the calipers off, found some sticking pistons on both sides, and then I showed y'all how to quickly and easily unstick them. All you got to do is just wedge something behind the brake pad of the offending side, the side the caliper is not pushing the pistons out on, and then just move the lever. You might have to take a little small wire brush or some brake clean and clean those pistons up. I did that on these. Be careful with that. You know, brake clean does kind of eat into stuff, but if you're sparing with it and get it brake clean and then wiped off pretty quickly, you will be fine. Someone will probably say, oh, don't do that. Go eat the caliper seals up, but you won't. And then I had my wife come back out one last time, and we did one last round of regular brake bleeding. And this thing, at least just sitting here in the backyard, has fantastic brakes. So I flushed the back brakes for him. He asked me to do that. And I've also looked at an oil leak. He's got an oil leak coming from the stator wires, but we'll fix that on his next visit. I don't have room in my shop right now. There's currently 2 shovel heads, an iron head, and an Evo Sportster in there, and it's a 12 by 20 lawn and garden shed, so I'm rapidly running out of space. So I'm gonna go run this thing around the block one time, make sure it stops good going down the road, and I don't really feel like taking the GoPro with me, so we'll just end this episode right here. Hope this was helpful for you, and maybe help you fix your brakes, if not for free, for pretty darn close to it. Thanks for watching. Bye.